Imagine a sound, a constant, low thrum just at the edge of hearing, but only *U* can hear it. It's the echo of footsteps in a gaslit alley, the whisper of a name lost to time, Jack the Ripper. For over 130 years, that name has haunted the cold, cobbled streets of London's East End. In the grim autumn of 1888, a terrifying shadow fell upon Whitechapel, a district already steeped in grinding poverty and profound despair. This was a place where life was cheap, where survival was a brutal, daily struggle, particularly for its most vulnerable residents. Picture it vividly: narrow, winding lanes, perpetually damp and cloaked in a permanent twilight. Overcrowded tenements, their grimy windows barely letting in the meager light, housed entire families in abject squalor. The very air was thick with the smell of coal smoke, unwashed bodies, and the ever-present stench from the polluted River Thames. It was against this harrowing backdrop that the killer chose his victims, women existing on the absolute fringes of society, often forced into prostitution merely to survive another day. Their lives, though often unseen and unacknowledged by the wider world, were about to become tragically, brutally, and eternally linked to an unsolved terror. The reign of terror began in earnest on August 31st, 1888. Mary Ann Nichols, known affectionately as Polly, was found brutally murdered in Bucks Row. Her throat had been savagely cut, and her abdomen horribly mutilated. This wasn't just a murder, it was a chilling declaration of intent, a grotesque signature etched in blood. Just 8 days later, Annie Chapman met a similar, even more gruesome fate in the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street. The ferocity of the attacks was undeniably escalating. The killer wasn't merely taking lives. He was meticulously dissecting them, leaving behind a macabre signature that horrified even the most hardened police constables. Then came the infamous double event on September 30th. Elizabeth Stride, Long Liz, was found first in Berner Street, her throat cut, but with no abdominal mutilation. Perhaps the killer was interrupted. Less than an hour later, Catherine Eddowes was discovered in Mitre Square, horrifically disfigured, her internal organs removed. The chilling similarities were undeniable: the deep, precise throat cuts, the increasingly skilled and brutal abdominal mutilations, sometimes with organs meticulously removed. This suggested a killer with a disturbing degree of anatomical knowledge, perhaps a butcher, a surgeon, or someone intimately familiar with dissections. A truly terrifying thought for the city. The terror reached its horrific climax with Mary Jane Kelly on November 9th. Her murder, in her own rented room at 13 Miller's Court, was by far the most savage of all. Her body was disemboweled and disfigured beyond all recognition, an act of almost ritualistic violence that cemented the killer's macabre legend forever. The police, both the Metropolitan and City of London forces, were completely overwhelmed and ill-equipped. Forensics were primitive, fingerprint identification wasn't yet a reliable tool, and crime scene preservation was practically non-existent. A gaslit street at night offered little in the way of concrete clues, and even less incredible witnesses. Panic gripped Whitechapel like a suffocating blanket. Vigilante groups formed, patrolling the dark streets with sticks and lanterns, driven by fear. Dread was palpable, a cold terror that seeped into every corner of the East End. People barricaded their doors, whispering desperate theories, terrified of the unseen monster walking among them. Adding to the utter chaos were the infamous letters. The most notorious, The Dear Boss letter, signed Jack the Ripper, gave the killer his chilling, enduring moniker. Then came the Saucy Jackie postcard, and later, the horrifying From Hell letter, chillingly accompanied by a small human kidney, allegedly from one of the victims. But were these letters truly genuine, penned by the killer himself, or were they morbid hoaxes, deliberately designed to further terrorize the public and mislead the floundering police investigation? The authorities were deeply divided, yet the name stuck. It became synonymous with ultimate, uncatchable evil, a phantom that forever eluded justice. Over the decades, countless suspects have been put forward, each with their own compelling, yet ultimately circumstantial, case. From the highest echelons of Victorian society to the very lowest, no one was truly above suspicion in the public's frantic imagination. The mystery only deepened with every new, speculative theory. One prominent suspect, Aaron Kosminski, a Polish Jewish barber residing in Whitechapel, was identified by DNA evidence from a shawl allegedly found at a crime scene. However, this modern forensic claim remains highly contentious, with many experts questioning the chain of custody and the reliability of such ancient DNA analysis. Another early suspect was Montague John Drute, a barrister whose body was tragically found in the River Thames shortly after the murders ceased. He fit the profile of an educated man, and his death seemed to eerily coincide with the end of the Ripper's brutal spree, a chilling coincidence for some investigators and theorists. Perhaps the most sensational theory implicated Prince Albert Victor, Duke of Clarence and Avondale, grandson of Queen Victoria herself. The scandalous idea of a royal killer protected by the establishment to avoid scandal captured the public imagination, though definitive evidence remains scarce and largely speculative to this day. Then there's Walter Sickert, a renowned artist known for his dark, atmospheric paintings of Victorian London. His curious fascination with the Ripper case led some to believe he was either the killer or deeply involved. His macabre art, some argue, reflected a deeper, more disturbing truth hidden within his psyche. More recently, the purported diary of James Maybrick, a Liverpool cotton merchant, emerged sensationally claiming to be the Ripper's chilling confession. While undeniably intriguing, the diary's authenticity has been fiercely debated and widely dismissed by experts, adding yet another complex layer of deception to the already convoluted legend. After Mary Jane Kelly's horrific murder, the killings abruptly stopped. Was the killer finally caught, perhaps in secret? Did he die succumbing to illness or accident? Or did he simply move on, satisfied with his gruesome work, vanishing into the London fog? The sudden cessation only deepened the mystery, leaving a gaping void in the historical record. Why then does Jack the Ripper continue to utterly fascinate us over a century later? It's more than just the sheer brutality of the crimes. It's the ultimate unsolved puzzle, a terrifying ghost story rooted firmly in grim, undeniable reality. The profound lack of closure, the enduring absence of a face to match the monster, allows our imaginations to endlessly fill the void. He is the unmaskable killer, a terrifying embodiment of the unknown that lurks in the shadows. His identity remains stubbornly hidden in the gaslight and the perpetual shadows of Victorian London, a perpetual challenge to our deepest human desire for answers, for justice, and ultimately for understanding the darkest corners of human nature. The Ripper's legacy is not just one of brutal murder, but of profound fear, of an entire city gripped by a terror that felt almost supernatural. His chilling story reminds us of the fragility of safety, and how quickly society can be consumed by dread when a merciless predator walks unseen and unidentifiable among us. And so, the hunt continues, albeit through countless books, detailed documentaries, and passionate online debates. Each new generation tries to peer through the thick fog of time, hoping against hope to finally unmask the elusive phantom of Whitechapel. But perhaps some mysteries are simply destined to remain just that, mysteries, forever unsolved. If the echoes of history's greatest enigmas intrigue you, then you won't want to miss our next deep dive into another truly baffling disappearance.